Is putting fingerprints on the back of a car a search under the Fourth Amendment? This question. Is putting fingerprints on the back of a car a search under the Fourth Amendment? This question comes from an officer in Nevada. He said that, hey, look, I know that we've always done it that way. It's best practice, and officer safety are not recognized exceptions under the Fourth Amendment. They certainly are not. So, and that touching, he also says that in touching a vehicle with the intent to gather information is a search under the Fourth Amendment. Now, when an officer conducts a traffic stop, they approach the rear of the vehicle and they touch the trunk, right? To see if to put fingerprints on it, or maybe to see if the trunk is open, or maybe if there's contraband back there, or there's a person, right? Is that a search under the Fourth Amendment? Okay. So what the officer is talking about here, or at least implying, is U.S. versus Jones. That is a U.S. Supreme Court case which talks about touching a vehicle or anything that's protected by the Fourth Amendment, but touching a vehicle with the intent to gather information is a search under the Fourth Amendment. In Jones, the cops put a GPS tracker on the vehicle, and without a warrant, that tracking data was used to convict him for drug trafficking, and the Supreme Court says that was a search under the Fourth Amendment. Now, turning back to our question at hand, is putting your fingerprints on the back of a car during a traffic stop a search under the Fourth Amendment? And the answer is no, because you're not gathering information, right? All right. Well, what if you are trying to check if the trunk is open for somebody back there, contraband and so forth? If the cop testified to that, that definitely would probably make the answer more clear. But I think the answer is yes. The answer is yes, because then the officer is touching a protected area in order to gather information. The information here is whether or not the trunk is open. And officer safety is a recognized exception, right? It's an umbrella term, but it has to be justified. I do think the court would uphold this touching under the rationale of officer safety because of the inherent dangerousness of traffic stops, and it's really not that intrusive and so forth. But at the end of the day, we don't have a case that says that it's good or bad either way. We do have a case out of the Sixth Circuit that says that a parking enforcement officer that put a piece of chalk on a tire was a search under the Fourth Amendment. Put the chalk to see if the car is moved within a certain time period. So we know that very minor touching. That case is called Taylor. Taylor versus Saginaw. We also know U.S. versus Richmond at the Fifth Circuit, where a trooper was banging on a tire to see if something was inside of it, was also a search. So we do know that very minor intrusions can implicate the Fourth Amendment. So the answer here is fingerprints, no search. Checking to see if it's open is a search. If cops are asking me, Anthony, should we still do it? If we want, I would say yes. I think you're going to be okay. I think under the umbrella term officer safety, even though we don't want to just throw that officer safety business out there as a manner of routine and be like, oh yeah, I can do whatever I want as long as I call it officer safety. That won't work. But I think here it works. All right. You guys know what to do before you leave. Hit the like button, subscribe, share with your friends. That'll really help us out. All right. See you next time.